So let's learn some regular expressions. We're first going to start out with character classes, which allow us to specify the type of characters that we are looking for. /W matches a word character. This includes letters, numbers, and underscores. So if we are searching for all instances of gray both with an A and with an E, we can put a /W for the search character, and that will return all variants of gray. But it technically also matches words that start with GR and end with Y. But just like normal letters, you can put this character class element together to make a sequence. So if we're looking for all 3-letter words that start with D, we could do D/WW and that will give us a doc. This isn't the best way of writing it, but we will cover it later. The next character class is /G, which matches numbers. So it's similar to /W, but it only matches numbers, and not letters or underscores. So if you're trying to select all phone numbers that are formatted like this, with the hyphens, we would do 3/Ds, and then a hyphen, and then 3 more, and then a hyphen, and then 4 more. And like I said, this isn't the best way of doing it. You will see though that it matches our 3 phone numbers that are all formatted this way. /S matches a whitespace character, so spaces, tabs, and new lines. In Regex 101 you might not be able to see the new lines highlighted because they are technically not visible, but you will see that it is a match. And the last character class we are going to cover is the period. Period is a wild card. It will match any characters, so letters, numbers, spaces, and even special characters, but not new lines. So if I wanted to match all of these words, I could do BE.T, and it will select the words even with a number in the middle, or a space, or a question mark. What if we wanted to be more selective about our pattern matching? In the first example, if I really only wanted the occurrence gray and gray with an A and an E, how would I write this in a regex? Luckily we have groups to match a more specific subset of characters. The square brackets work as an OR. It will match any occurrence of any of letters in brackets. So to find just our 2 versions of gray, we could search for GR and then AE in brackets and Y. That will only match those 2 words and nothing else. You can also negate what's inside the brackets by adding a caret at the beginning. Then it's like having a wild card here that will match anything except for what's in the brackets. The other type of regex group are the parentheses. We can do another thing to select our 2 versions of gray. The only difference is now we need to use the pipe operator to specify the OR. So this is what it would look like if we wanted to select gray. But with parentheses, we're not just restricted to match one character, we can have whole strings within our parentheses. So if I wanted to search for all versions of there, I could start out with THE, and then in parentheses we could do one with YRE, then add the OR, do one with IR, then do other one with RE. And you see that it will select all 3 versions of there. But now you will notice that the text that was in parentheses is now highlighted in green here, and it's being captured. Capturing text like this with parentheses is actually really helpful when we want to do find and replace, because we can reference the text that's being captured. Just to illustrate what I mean, let's go back to the phone number example. So here we are back to capturing our phone numbers. Let's put parentheses just around our area code. Now within regex 101 we can go to substitution. Then for the substitution we could say the area code is, and we can reference the area code by doing $1. Now you see what our substitution would look like. And to go a step further, we can actually nest these capture groups within each other. If we want to select the area code as 1, then the whole number with other capture group, we can now reference both of them and make this area code of full phone, which is the first capture group, is the second capture group. And now you'll see what our respective text is showing. But again, writing out a /d this many times is not the correct way to do it. And that's why Regex has quantifiers. These don't work as individual components, like the way we'd have a character class by itself. Instead, it quantifies the character directly before it, whether it's a character class or a specific letter or a number or anything. So the first quantifier is a curly braces where you can specify a min and a max, and it's essentially saying that character will show up between n and m times. So if we're looking for a character that shows up between 1 to 5 times, we could do 1,5.
What's really powerful here is that if we're looking for at least n occurrences, we don't even need to specify the upper bound, so we could write n comma, and if we want exactly n occurrences, we would write just n without the comma and without the upper bound. So I added another phone number down here that has 4 digits to begin with. So let's see if we can make a regex pattern that's efficient and selects all these phone numbers. Again, we'll do /d, but now that can occur either 3 times or 4 times. Then there is a hyphen and then another number that occurs 3 times, a hyphen and then another number that occurs 4 times. And now you see we get all of our phone numbers, and it's a lot more readable to write it like this. There are a few other quantifiers as well, if we want our regex to be less wordy. But functionality-wise, the curly braces can actually cover all scenarios. So the star or asterisk means the character will appear 0 or more times, so this is the equivalent of writing 0, in the curly braces. So if we wanted to select all of our hello strings in its entirety, we would write hello and then the exclamation mark at the end. Now with the star, because we know that it'll be at least 0 times, but could be any number. Plus means the character will appear 1 or more times. So this is the equivalent of writing 1 comma in the curly braces. If we got rid of the star and made it a plus, you see that it doesn't select this last hello, because it requires there to be at least 1 exclamation mark. And the last quantifier we're gonna cover is a question mark, which means either 0 or 1 occurrence. So it's either there or it isn't. So it is the same as writing 0, 1 or just 1. If we make this question mark at the end, now the exclamation point may or may not be there, and you see that it won't select the exclamation points toward the end of these first 2 strings.
Another class of regex characters are the anchors. So if you have a piece of text that occurs specifically at the beginning of a line, you can use anchors to help you search for that pattern. The caret specifies that the character comes at the beginning of the string. Here we want to select the text each time Alice is talking and everything she says, but we don't want to select where Alice is being mentioned in the conversation by Bob. So we will start out with the caret, so Regex knows that we want the beginning of the string, and then we will write Alice with the colon. And we essentially don't know what she'll say afterwards, so we're going to put a period down, and we want this to go to the end of the line. And we don't know how many characters it will be, so we'll use an asterisk. And also a quick thing about Regex 101 is that there are different search modes, and in this case it's treating each new line as a separate string with its own beginning and its own end. Theoretically, we could treat this as one giant string by going over here and disabling multi-line, and you can see now it's only selecting that very first question. We're going to change this back to multi-line though. Now the opposite of the caret is the dollar sign, which specifies that the character right before it comes at the end of the string. So we'll put it at the end of our search pattern, and that would signal that's what the string ended with. So if you only wanted to select questions that Alice was asking, we could modify our search pattern and make it /? and then dollar sign. And now you see we're only selecting questions. What's tricky here is that you'll notice that I put the slash right before the question mark, and that's so Regex knows that we are looking for an actual question mark, and not just using one as part of our search pattern. This right here is called an escape character, and we have to use it anytime we are trying to research for a special character that Regex reserved for its other functions. So question marks, periods, dollar signs, etc.